Have you ever wondered about it? You see them every day, perched so casually on a line, humming with invisible death. If you were to reach out, just for a moment, and touch that same bare wire, the result would be instant, violent, and final. Your story would end right there. Yet the birds sit there, chirping, preening, watching the world go by, as if the wire were nothing more than a metal branch. They seem to break a fundamental rule of nature, a rule we are taught from childhood. Do not touch the power lines. Why is there one rule for them and another, much harsher rule for us? The scene is almost cinematic in its quiet tension. It lands gracefully atop a thick black cable stretched between two towering poles. Below, the world rushes on. But up there is only the bird, the wire, the vast, open sky. Now, imagine the sky darkening, the clouds gathering into a bruised purple mass. A distant rumble of thunder echoes. Rain begins to fall. First as gentle drops, then as a steady, soaking downpour. The bird is now wet. The wire is wet. The air is thick with moisture. Everything you know about electricity screams that this is a recipe for disaster. You watch, holding your breath. You wait for the inevitable flash, a tiny puff of smoke, a silent fall. To truly grasp the bird's secret, we need to think about electricity in a new way. Forget complex equations. Forget technical jargon. Instead, imagine electricity as like water flowing in a powerful river. This river doesn't want to stay in one place. It always wants to move. But it only moves when there's a reason to. Water flows from a high place, like the top of a mountain, down to a low place, like the sea. It needs a difference in height, a gradient, to get it moving. Without that difference, the water would just sit there, forming a calm, still lake. Electricity behaves in a very similar way. This push or pressure that gets electricity moving is called voltage. A power plant creates a very high voltage, like pumping water up to the top of a massive mountain. The ground, or the earth beneath our feet, is like the sea. It has a very low or zero voltage. Now let's bring our attention back to the small bird sitting on that high voltage wire. The bird's two tiny feet are clutching the wire, but they are very, very close together. The bird is essentially dipping both of its feet into the river at almost the exact same spot. Voltage along that short section of wire where the bird's feet are is nearly identical. There is no significant drop between its left foot and its right foot. Because there is no meaningful voltage difference across its body, the electricity has no incentive to change its course. However, the bird's body is made of flesh and bone, which is not a very good conductor of electricity compared to the copper, aluminum of the wire. Electricity, being lazy, wants the path of least resistance. Why would it struggle to go up the bird's leg, through its body, down the other leg, when it can just continue speeding along the wide-open highway of the metal wire? A minuscule, practically immeasurable amount of current might pass through the bird, but it's so small the bird doesn't even feel it. It's like a single drop of water taking a detour from a massive river. But what about the rain? This is a question that naturally complicates the picture in our minds. We are taught that water and electricity are a deadly combination. So, when the sky opens up and soaks the bird, the wire, the air itself, it feels like the rules of the game should change. Surely the water must create a pathway for the electricity to travel a deadly connection from the wire through the wet bird and down to the ground. Yet, despite our intuition, the bird remains safe. The fundamental principle does not change. Even when wet, the bird is still only touching one wire. It is not touching the ground or anything connected to the ground. Air, even very humid and rainy air, is a remarkably good insulator. For electricity to jump through miles of rainy air to reach the earth would require an incredible amount of voltage, far more than what is typically in a distribution power line. A lightning bolt can do it, but a standard power line cannot. So far, we have established why the bird is safe. It is safe because it is small, touches only one wire, keeps its feet close together. It does not complete an electrical circuit. But this safety is fragile. It depends entirely on the bird maintaining this specific position. The story takes a dark and immediate turn the moment the bird makes one simple mistake. If it, for any reason, provides a bridge between 2 points of different voltage, the protection of physics vanishes instantly, and the laws that kept it safe will be the very laws that destroy it. If a large bird is sitting on one wire and stretches its wings, eagle, hawk, stork, it might accidentally touch an adjacent wire. In that split second, the bird's body becomes the path of least resistance between those 2 voltages. The result is a massive surge of current flowing through its body from wing to wing. It is instantaneous and catastrophic. Another path to doom involves the ground. While the bird is safe in the air, it can create a connection to the ground in other ways. Wooden poles, metal poles, are connected to the earth. If a bird were to sit on a wire and also touch a part of the grounded pole, or a metal support structure attached to it, it would complete the circuit. The electricity would surge from the high-voltage wire through the bird's body, down the pole, and into the earth. This is precisely why linemen who work on power lines use insulated gloves, insulated boots, insulated tools, and sometimes work from insulated bucket trucks, to avoid becoming that bridge between the wire and the ground. Understanding the bird's fragile situation allows us to finally and fully understand why humans are so vulnerable to electricity. The reason we get electrocuted is that we almost always provide the deadly bridge that the bird so carefully avoids. More often than not, they are standing on the ground. Our body becomes the perfect pathway for electricity to rush from the high-voltage wire down to the low-voltage ground. So, we return to the quiet, rainy scene that began our journey. The small bird sits on the wire, a perfect emblem of tranquility, amid unseen power. Distant lightning flashes. Nothing happens. The bird is not holding a lucky charm. It has no magical exemption from nature. It survives because it lives in harmony with electrical engineering. Its small body, its 2 feet, close together on one conductor. That ensures it never becomes a bridge. It never completes the circuit. Remember the large hawk with a majestic wingspan. If that bird touches another wire at the same time, it's over. The physics that protected it would turn against it in a flash. The circuit would close. Survival on the wire is not a given. It is conditional, dependent on position and on circumstance. So next time you see a bird on a power line, remember, it's not luck, it's physics.